Writing rules for sequences. This particular video should be fun for you. I'm hopeful it'll be fun. In this video, instead of me telling you some procedure you need to follow, what I want you to do is I want you to I want you to figure it out for yourself. So what we're looking for is a pattern. And I'm hopeful you can identify the pattern in a couple examples. The very first one goes like this. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. These are terms in the sequence. And the sequence could go on and on. Now, there's a pattern that's here. And I'm hopeful that you can identify it. But if you want, you can pause the video and try it now on your own, or let me give you a hint. The hint is this. Remember that if these are the terms in the sequence, we would call the first one a sub 1, and the second one a sub 2, and the third one a sub 3, and the fourth one a sub 4, etc. And at some point, it'd be nice if we could figure out what a sub n is. In other words, the nth term. So let's take a look and see. The first thing we'll do is this. I'm going to remind you that n for the 2 is 1. And this n is 2, and this n is 3, and this n is 4, and this n is 5. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to be able to relate the n to the term. What I'm hopeful is that you could come up with a formula that relates these numbers down here to these guys right here. So take a moment, pause the video, and see if you can figure it out. And if you can, you'll write it over here. You'll write it right under here as whatever the formula is. Go ahead and pause. Okay, hopefully you took a moment and tried to figure it out. What I believe the formula is this. Well, first of all, I'm going to rewrite all of these guys. I'm going to rewrite this 2 as 2 times 1. And then I'm going to rewrite the 4 as 2 times 2. And I'm going to rewrite the 6 as 2 times 3. And I'll rewrite the 8 as 2 times 4. And I think I'll leave it at that for now. What I want to point out is that the n's themselves, let's see if I can show you this. The n's are this, they are this number that goes in the parentheses. That's what the n is, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the number out in front, 2, it's there in every single case. It's in every term. So when we go to write the rules for this sequence, the rule is going to look like this. It's going to be 2 times whatever n is. And that's it. That's exactly, oh, maybe just to be perfectly legit, let's put a comma in there. But the rule itself is going to be 2 times n, and that's what a sub n is. So we can go ahead and write out the rule as a sub n equals 2n. That is the rule. Now, again, sorry I wrote this a little sloppy. Remember, this n is supposed to be smaller than the a and a little lower. That's a subscript. And this 2 and this n, they really should be on the same level. So I'm going to back it off and just try to rewrite this so that it's as clear as I can possibly be. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at another example and see what you guys can do with this. So in this case, we'll call this guy 1. Let's call this next guy 2. And in the second one, you're going to have negative 1, negative 8, negative 27, and negative 64. ... In other words, it keeps going on. Pause the video and see if you can figure out what the rule is. Again, if you'd like, I'll give you a little hint. Let's start off with this, n equals 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, ... all the way out to n. Eventually we get to n. And I think I'll leave it at that. Go ahead and pause the video, see what you can do. Okay, I'm hopeful you had a chance to take a look at this. I'm thinking, let's see here. This looks, I can't really tell what's going on with the negative 1, but the negative 8, negative 27, negative 64, something interesting is going on there. Negative 8 is negative 2 to the power of 3. And negative 27 is negative 3 to the power of 3. And negative 64 is negative 4 to the power of 3. In other words, all of these are power of 3s. And by the way, I could have put the negative sign out in front and that would have worked as well. And negative 1 is also negative 1 to the power of 3. So this is pretty consistent. So I want to point out again that the 1 is n, and the 2 is n, and the 3 is n, and the 4 is n. So we could rewrite this as a rule that says that the nth term will be negative n raised to the power of 3. That'll get us any one of these terms in the sequence. And again, I'll remind you that this is a sub n. This is known as the nth term. This is the rule for the nth term. And let's go ahead and put in that. And let's go ahead and actually write this out. This is the nth term, is the nth term. So what is the nth term? Well, it's this, a sub n, and it's also this. And by the way, this guy more specifically could be referred to as the rule, but it's also the nth term. Both of these guys, this is the nth term, and this is the nth term. Remember, they're equal, right? So they both should be the nth term. Let's try one more just for fun. So this third one will be 0, 2, 6, 12, and I'll let you take a moment to pause the video and see if you can write out what the rule is for the nth term in this particular sequence. Oh, I just realized this one's kind of tricky. So again, I'll give you the hint. Don't forget that we start off with n equals 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. If you need another minute, go ahead and pause the video and give it another try. Otherwise, if you're ready, here we go. What I think this one's kind of weird. Instead of just having n be in one place, it looks to me like we need two different n's, because you'll notice that that to get this 0, I need to do something like 0 times 1. And to get this 2, I'm not sure what to do, but to get this 6, I need to do something to this 3. And I'm thinking it's 2 times 3. And 2 is this number over here. And to get this 12, I need to do something to 4, and it's multiplied by 3, and 3 is this number over here. So what it looks like to, well, again, if you want to pause the video and try it yourself, go for it. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you. Okay, hopefully you paused and tried yourself. Here's what I think. I think because of the way the 12 and the 6 work, I think it's going to have to be n, which in this case would be 4, times the previous n. This guy right here is this number minus 1. And this guy right here is this number minus 1. So I think it's going to be n minus 1 times n. I think that's what's going to get us any term in the sequence. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. So n minus 1 times n. And that could be rewritten in a number of ways. In fact, I'll rewrite it over here. It's a sub n, the nth term, is n times n minus 1. There you go. Again, this is the rule for the nth term, and by the way, it will get you any particular term you want. And this is actually called the nth term, and it could be a sub 1 or a sub 2 or a sub 3, or it could be the very last term in the sequence.